thank you to Jeff. So some of the poets are with us tonight. They'll read first, then we'll hear from those who've recorded their readings. The poets will come out one by one, in alphabetical order. I guess I should push this. In alphabetical order of surname, give their name, and then read their poem. Please stand ready. So the order is Alex Chan, Calista Chan, Sadie Kaye. Is Janice here yet? If Janice is here, Janice. She's here. Then Janice is here. Luisa Ternau and Roger Uren. Okay? Alex. So here's the, when you're ready. You're okay with that?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Gillian. Thank you for the introduction. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alex. So I'm going to read my poem, Come Tong Ho. For those who do not know, it's now also called Dr. Sun Sen Museum. It is around Shenwan, so it's a beauty museum, historical buildings. And this poem I wrote this poem after my visit there. It's a poem about history and time and human relation to it. It is also a response to T.S. Eliot's Burnt Norton. So here's the poem. Come Tong Ho. My word echoes thoughts in your mind. Burnt Norton. Standing in the white wall rococo style, staring at the photos of all these people, studying the caption that goes underneath, they are now named that become echo. Can you imagine they live in a time of deco? Time blooms and time withers. Time past was when time present. Time present is now time past. To capture this moment, the universe says the payment demands more than just a grain of seconds. Looking around in this hall now filled with people, how did we get here? Is temporal proximity a spatial concurrency? Do you think they ever read the theory of relativity? When space and time intertwine, twist and blend into a manifold, things that were once considered theoretical have now become concretely possible. Going up and down in this Edwardian house, exploring its 100-year history, the story before you and the story before me, converging towards the still point, which is the present. What was once an abstraction is now more than a possibility. Let us turn our speculation into the reality, now and here. What is the point of hesitation? Time blooms and time withers. When we reach the time and start to shatter, smile and moments of laughter, capture, frozen, preserved, as an unseamless echo in the garden, bouncing back and forth until they are banished. Within the spaceless time of perpetuity and timeless space of continuity, would it still come and would it still matter? What comes before and what comes down? Walking down the coast, it's like hearing buttons. How can we reach the harbor to harbor our feelings? The concrete wasteland, breathless and suffocating, offer us but a lighthouse from a time past. Time present is the convergence of everything that comes before. Time present is the divergence of everything that comes after. Every sentence is an echo of the past. Every sentence brings us a new scar of living in time future for you and me. Time present is time future in eternity. The image is about happening in time past. The words here live in time present. The echo in your mind predestined in time future. Let's not try to change the law of physics, whether it's arrival or departure of an object. There is a time and there is a place for everything and everyone. For everyone and you and me. So after I ask you the overwhelming questions, let us go.
Ready to listen? I worked down
doctor in the A&E department, and then we would go on a lot of fishing trips during every shift. And what that means is that whenever some patient came in with a foreign body stuck in their throat, which was usually a fish bone or a chicken bone, we would have to get our laryngoscopy set and fish it out of their throats. So with this in mind, and also growing up in a post-colonial world with both Western and Chinese cultures and languages bombarding me, it's very easy to kind of lose your voice. So I was trying to play with this extended metaphor. So this is the poem that resulted from that, and it's called Foreign Bodies. I hope you like it. Consider this a laryngoscopy with chopsticks and tequila. Open wide and speak your mother tongue. Sorry, could you say that again? Retrace the roots of your family tree, tortuous yet unyielding. That's honor, that's inheritance. Then why is there a lump in my throat? Cross the border of memory and sit behind a boy with blonde hair. He will turn around and compliment your English. You will feel foreign for the first time. Stay still, we're going deeper now. A whiff of cologne and you're back in that classroom, colonial ideals shoved down your throat and you eagerly swallowing. Visualize the Gallecula, says a voice in your head, accent neither here nor there. A translucent bone emerges. How did we get here? Our foreign bodies trembling between breath and cartilage. Try going medial, lateral, but something compels you to stay. A plexus of pride and shame and good old days. Retrieval failed, it's lodged deep. You have built a home in the in-between. You swallow the bone, then start to speak. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sadie. I am Poet Laureate of my bathroom. This is called Room. I remember the first time I brought you here. It's just a room. It's the cue for you to lower your expectations. A room with a view. Sky cracks with the coral sunset that seeps into the horizon. Light fades in the hush of dusk, exhausted yet energized, on the cusp of change. The property agent chirps on about good bones. The room is no longer a place, but an X-ray of Michelle Yeoh's face. This room could be beautiful, right? You could make this room beautiful. It's just a room, but it already feels like a home. There are many reasons Hong Kong is uninhabitable. So many reasons you may want to go. Windowless apartments, subdivided flats, bunk beds, sleep pods, criminally high rents. Life here has always been about trying to make Bauhinia seeds blossom in cement. Western hacks say Hong Kong is dead, that the place I knew is a relic. I don't want to live in dead places, deleted spaces, a zombie colony with sad faces. But how can Hong Kong be dead when there are still 7 million plus of us squished here? And so we continue to find treasure troves of hope in unexpected nooks and hidden vents. We continue to wipe down the mold, repaint the walls, restructure the bones, plant seeds and cement. One day we could be forcibly evicted, or this room could be razed to the ground. But for now, we're happy, making a home out of bones in a perfectly imperfect place.
This poem is inspired by exploration together with two friends, and I'm glad that one of them is here tonight. Our fireflies, against the fading illumination of dusk, carrying small lanterns, you flapped little wings and accompanied many passers-by hundreds of times along the little trails of Total village. Under the tranquil moonlight, you gathered your flock, blinking in between the mangroves, swaying to the rhythm of the singing waves, to celebrate the moment when those two lovers kissed each other. At the paved beach of Nai Chong. On a tipsy nightfall, 3 female poets made their way through the sweltering jungles and the choruses of frogs to chase you and their muse among the misty glens of Saisha Road. Then nightmare fell, the world stood still, human beings built up impenetrable fortress walls to keep away the disease, the noise, and the air. Then dawn arrived, shields well removed. Women and men, once again, breathed in and breathed out, willfully and subsequently freely. So I mounted on my bike, which took me from Total to Nanchong and Saisha. Into my sight now came large cranes, pink, blue, and yellow. All waved their intrusive arms into the cloudless sky from Total to Naichong and Saisha. Like the gigantic fonts you've ever seen everywhere upon the advent of the magic ChatGPT. But where are you now, our fireflies? But where are thee now, those forever gone, glittering summer evenings? Thank you.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Okay, you can hear me. Okay, let me find. It's on page 138. Okay, so doors on the art of staying positive. Doors are banging shut as I pass through the unlit corridor. A few close with a thump, others more quietly say no. I proceed, undisturbed. How long will this last? In my wandering, lost is the way back, and unclear the way out, or in past one of those doors, which continue to shut. Ladies on the other side tell me, no, for sure, this is not your destination, as if they were supposed to know. They don't yell at me, but with a downward smile, with eyes that avoid my direction, simply say, no, we don't know you. You should try the other door. It is more appropriate for your situation. Then I notice, as the light is turned on, this is no tunnel, no corridor either. It is inside an eggshell. Perhaps I am about to be born again. The paths and the roads will then show at my feet. Sunlight will meander around corners. I will be able to dream again, and those doors will stay shut, and the people behind will be trapped inside, their reasonings like pets on a leash in mating season, their dreams frescoed to their walls, doors that will belong to my past, doors that I will not need any longer, my life no more a future dream, nor a present nightmare. Thank you.
Good evening. It's very pleasant to be here again. It's very nice to see Gillian. I'm sorry Werner can't join us, but that is life. This poem is a product of the fact that I've always found daytime very boring. And that's why I think a moonless night is really very comforting and pleasant. Night's dark and starlit light, like starlit sky, devoid of a yellow rounded moon, is like heaven without God, or hell without a devil. Night's soft, mellow qualities are lost when there is no moon-clad and pure light. The dark winds blow and torture tears the grass where we once trod, when night's soft eye has failed to show, and on the world to paint its peaceful glow. Its beauty can lead the souls of men to draw out thoughts within their mind, remembering the now flown days when the splendour and glory of love men find with all ease of those not 2 times 10 in years. Yet we, with faces deeply lined, shall never see those days again, but only feel beneath the moon how lost, how lonely. But my song is not sad. My song will say, recall all the beauty of love's delight. Through boredom it depreciates the day, but sings of carefree love when clothed in night, carrying thoughts to ecstasy far away when all is love and never halts nor wavers, and sings of joy and happy living lovers who remember all the pleasures of the past, memories that bring peace of heart while they last.
Thank you all very much. Well done. Congratulations to all of you. We're now going to hear the videoed poetry readings. We're going to hear the first, second and third place winners first, then those specially mentioned by the judges for a group of poems, then a small group of those who also won a place in the anthology, just a small group because there's 50. We're not going to hear 50 tonight, at any rate. Off we go. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Gary Beaumier. I live in Grafton, Wisconsin, in the United States. I'm reading from my poem, Portrait of My Soul as a Mushroom. This is a poem about self-importance. Portrait of my soul as a mushroom. If I were a landscape painter, I might paint the lateness of the day as it quiets into a vast stillness beneath the shelter of clouds, and myself a tiny figure off to one side. Or I might do a self-portrait as a scarecrow, minding a field of sunflowers that grackles raid as they call my bluff. Maybe a surrealistic rendering as a papery old man with a ghostly pallor stranded on a park bench. My possessions that once defined me, scattered in the background, cars and houses and some distorted warp of their former shape, and noticed only by children who are hurried along by their parents, while unruly imposters bloated with self-importance rage against the skyscape. But if I painted my soul, maybe it would be a mushroom in communion with a great collective of others through networks of delicate underground strands, going about our work of breaking down or rising up all that was thought to be important.
Quartet, Spring 1715. Hands tanned the colour of his leather apron, white blouse billowing, hair adrift. The luthier trudges the streets of Cremona, feeling every one of his 70 years. Delights in the light on Piazza San Domenico, the way the terracotta flames alive, the way colour and grain is conjured from timber, the way music is enticed from hair bowed on gut. Today, the seasons conspire against him. Cats scatter and skulk, resins will not dry, the borer creeps down the Po Valley bearing cold from the Alps and moisture from Lago de Garda. Impatient, Antonio Stradivari tests the wood, leaves a thumbprint on the tacky varnish. Summer, 1725. The stench from the lagoon offends the priest, otherwise delighted to hold his printed manuscript, the contest between harmony and invention. His ambition questions the obvious conceit buried in the names of the first 4 concertos. He loosens his red hair, watches the Sirocco, funneled up the Adriatic to Venice, flick the pages, wrapped in public adoration. On his death in Vienna, most of his fame and fortune extinguished, Antonio Vivaldi's passing was not mourned. His music was ignored. Manuscripts lost for 200 years found in that monastery in Piedmont in 1926. Autumn 1959. On Bennelong Point, work begins on the podium on which will sit the Sydney Opera House. Migrants sail past in their Sitmar liner, focused on the harbour bridge, not the building site. That exuberant cockatoo of a building, sails billowing in the sea breeze, remote as their future, as they head for Walsh Bay to disembark. This was long before the Philistines drove the Dane away, long before the building work was completed, long before Utzon died without seeing his conception, long before the main hall was refurbished 50 years after its completion. Winter, 2022. The Strad is part of him. He stands brightly centre stage. Concert hall, Richter's 4 Seasons recomposed. The soloist applies his alchemy to the violin. Spring Zero begins with morning bird call. Sydney's winter sputters to a close, with the furnace of a sunset driven by the south wind. Synchronicity. At Ray Chen violin plays at Max Richter music, reimagining Vivaldi's 4 Seasons 300 years after their original composition on a 300-year-old Stradivarius violin in the renewed Sydney Opera House.
Hello, I'm Lynda McKinney Lambert from the United States. I live in the beautiful state of Pennsylvania. I'm happy to be here to present my poem today, X, the Peaceful Prayer Garden. Ancient gardeners designed beauty in calculated simplicity of circular clumps of corkscrew and yellow grass. Designed a dried up landscape. Elaborate, intermediate, abbreviated. Forest, mountains, rocks, water. Gravel and sand symbolize water and streams. Heavy rocks mirror a mountain. I tend our secluded garden. Japanese, natural, minimalist aesthetic. Keep pristine, uncluttered. Laid out with philosophic principles. My husband, the devoted tea man. Now I stand alone in his garden. Ordered, by the terrain and distance between us, perceptible only to a cultivated taste. Quietly, I invite you to sit beside our peaceful prayer garden. Refinement underlies a commonplace appearance of multicolored stones gathered on sand among thin Japanese bluegrass. Tamikiyama tree, the star in our garden. Unique designs created since 5th century. Variety of color, textures, plants, trees. When I rake the colorful ground, I scratch an X in the sand. I leave a mark. Years of photos record subtle changes like Zion's promise revealed. I tend our garden.
This poem is called Tante Alice, Aunt Alice, and it's a celebration of a real Aunt Alice. She was a beautiful Armenian lady who lived in Heliopolis, Cairo, and I went to visit her as an undergraduate with my then girlfriend, and we stayed with her. This was like back in the early 70s, and so it's a celebration of her evoking a single lady, senior lady, living alone in this big city of Cairo, a refugee from Smyrna originally, the Greek, Armenian, Jewish city in the Anatolia that in 1922-23 everybody had to leave because of the the end of the Greco-Turkish War. There was a big exchange of populations. Anyway, celebration of Aunt Alice, Tante Alice. So we start off at Cairo airport. We arrive. Her white lace parasol floats above a line of greeters. Tante Alice! Niece bounds forward, pecks her powdered cheek. Boyfriend kisses her laced gloved hand. Taxi to Heliopolis, grand white colonnaded mansion. Birdcage lift up to a shuttered, lavender-scented apartment. Le chaleur, she gasps, fakes a swoon. Next day to the Armenian Club, dip in the mossy pool, lunch at the Nile Hilton, ice cream at Groppy's, lentil soup for supper served in gilt-rimmed Limoges. On the balcony, they sip green chartreuse. She laments the slide in standards, how a man hitched up his galabaya, made pipi against a palm tree. Quelle horreur! Dizzy with drink and laughter, she recites a colonial ditty. The English, the English, the English are best. I wouldn't give tuppence for all of the rest. She sings Egyptian TV jingles, Chocolata Gerzi, Nefertiti cigarettes, declaims Corneille's measured Alexandrines. Il faut venger un père, perdre une maîtresse. Children gone. Alone on the balcony, she sips tisane. Watches the trams glide by across the square, appear and disappear.
Hello everyone, this is Rena Ong. I am English and have been living in Singapore for many years. My thanks to Proverse for accepting my poem entitled 1368 AD as a shared third prize winner to be included in the Proverse Poetry Prize Anthology 2023 in the Mingled Voices collection, number 8. I really am truly honoured. Thank you. The poem reminds us of why we eat mooncake at the Mid-Autumn Festival, also known as Zhong Chujie, and the legend associated with the salted egg inside, representing hidden messages for uprising against the Mongol Yuan dynasty, which was eventually replaced in 1368 by the Ming dynasty. It ends with the legend of the moon goddess Chang'e, another symbol of self-sacrifice for this Mid-Autumn Festival. Here is my poem. I hope you enjoy it. 1368 AD. Mirrored on my plate beneath a full moon, its namesake treat cut into slivers, revealing within its green paste sky a golden orb. Sweet and sour explode toast buds on my tongue, thoughts transported, memories, myths, legends retold through generations. Messages hidden within, rumours, riots, rebellion, sacrifice. Tyrants toppled, transformation, a new dynasty. Roused by sounds of innocent play, children laughing, parading colourful lanterns, grabbing for their slices of moon to eat. Above, in nighttime's silver eye, alone for eternity, the goddess, an emblem of self-sacrifice, gazes down at us.
Hello, my name is Anna Quercia-Thomas. I am a Hispanic American writer and academic currently based in Western Australia. Today I'm going to read my poem, Palm to Palm, Two Words and Clay, which appears in the Proverse poetry anthology, Mingled Voices 8. This poem combines images of archaeology and history to imagine the space between people, times, and bodies. So, palm to palm, two words and clay. Dirt on your fingers, underneath your nails like lines of ink. When was the last time you felt warmth like this? You have reached into the cracks of history and touched magic. The calluses of your palms against my palms, against 1,000 years of words and clay. You are solid in a way I have learned that time might never be. Measure my life in stopped clocks, you said, by the space between the letters in a history book, with the kind of carelessness you only use when you're sincere. I am no longer ticking like a bomb. Your lips and my skin have seen to that. Besides, we dug deep enough this time. We might pretend that the act of destroying is a gentle thing. Dirt on your fingers, on the backs of your knuckles and the knees of your jeans. They held you in the palms of their hands when they did it, cupped like a prayer, like something to be remembered between the letters of a book for safekeeping.
Hello, my name's Neil Douglas from London, UK, and I'll be reading my poem Amit's Task from the latest Mingled Voices anthology. This is based on ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. Amit's Task. People say I have the teeth for the job. And if you listen, I will tell you that a man like you dies twice. Once when your breath leaves you, again when another man last speaks your name. People say I have the body for the job, roaring from the onerous shade as our goddess plucks her ostrich feather to be weighed by some lucky jackal against the sins of your heart. People say I have the butt for the job, as unforgiving as a hippo, for your sins are numbered in hundreds by the scribe. Too heavy for this feather, too heavy for this afterlife, and my smile, crocodile.
Good evening, I'm José Manuel Sevilla from Hong Kong. I'm Catalan, and I was born in a country led by patriots. This is the first verse of the poem I will read tonight, invited by Gillian and Werner, to whom I thank this new occasion to be together in another Proverse Reception. The poem belongs to my series Borders. This one is called But Not Tomorrow. The poem is about the patriots that have haunted the world my entire life. But there has always been a border, sometimes as close as our home door, sometimes far as a dream, behind which there was hope. I was born in a country led by patriots. In my dreams, horses in terror appear, trotting back among the cars with their empty saddles. Whatever they have seen, I would see when I wake up, as I have seen every day of my life, but not tomorrow. We travel naked like water, searching the border like one searches the blanket, the hug, the wardrobe, to cover yourselves with bears and wolves like in a fairy tale. I'm a carpenter. I know how to make wardrobes to revive fairy tales and ducks to revive justice.
Greetings from Adelaide, South Australia. My name is George Watt, and my poem, The Valley of Elah, will appear in the Proverse Poetry Prize anthology, Mingled Voices 8. The poem I'm going to read is part of a sequence which I wrote for the Ukrainian people, poems that show victory for underdogs. The Valley of Elah, 1000 BCE. He's calm, particular about the stone. It must be keenly edged and not too small. Of Saul's assembled troops, he alone, a simple shepherd boy, risks all. Troop lines are breathless, flags crack in the sun. Horses hoof the ground, restless, ready, somehow aware of the hell to come. A massive sword is raised, arm poised, steady, thick lines of muscle stretched, tight and taut. Little boy, come and meet your early death. The youth has little time for conscious thought. Observes a forehead, takes the deepest breath. Goliath, behold my arm, beyond compare. He fails to hear a whistle in the air.
Hello everyone, I am Maria Elena Blanco, a Cuban poet presently living in Chile, and I would like to read to you a poem of mine that has appeared or will appear in the anthology Mingled Voices 8, published by Proverse. The poem is entitled Housewarming at the Oil Mill. 1. These noble woods that now surround me, the fabrics, the lamp, had no hint of my being. The painting by the artist friend was then nothing but tree trunk, pigment, or a fiber of fantasy. The fireplace, a tunnel of desolate chill. Below, mud and steel, hollow cathedral. Here, only the mirror and the mattress, the skimpy blanket over a fast and fathomless and thankful sleep. No outlaws or bugs intruded, no flies circled about, just yet. The fresh lime smell abated the stench of olive dregs. The strange house welcomes a strange mistress who blows out the flame and fires up the night. Dreading, dying, dreaming. She's awakened by the fishmonger's cry. 2. The castle now in ruins was a dwelling. the oil press and the pond of the harem, its most cherished jewels. All was abandoned in flight. The 9 bonfires blazing in the dark showed us the way. Behind was the sea. It is no longer ours, and these valleys, nothing but pointless dead ends. May the high peaks protect us, the deep snow. 3. Anything other than all or nothing for him vanished like smoke, never knew of the heart's timing. My instinct unerring. The earthenware jars were raised again, the walls were whitewashed, the granite cones and jet-black bedstone leave no doubt that there was mule and pain and blood. All who see it desire it. He only imagines it from afar. I gave it light and water, and now it demands life. It never gets enough attention. The mason will be here at 8 sharp. 4. Red from adrenaline and air, he'll comb the ancient roof with glove-clad hands. He'll pull out from it roots, clover, moondust. The surly water again gave way to gravity, sought a crevice to circumvent the mud, the climbing branches. When will it be time for calm, for inspiration, ease? I know too well that's not love's way. Instead, an endless striving to achieve this atom of acceptance. The water, after all, will rush inexorably. Meanwhile, stubborn like Sisyphus, we go to great lengths to fix the leak. Goodbye. Thank you.
I'm going to read to you a poem called Whiskey and Soda. The poem takes place midnight, July the 1st, 1997. The handover of Hong Kong from the United Kingdom to the People's Republic of China. It was a momentous event. The whole world was watching. At that time, I was living in Hong Kong and watched the stunning firework display over Victoria Harbour. And after I threw a crowded party in my little flat in Tsim Sha Tsui. And the poem is a recreation of that historic night from a personal perspective. A few notes: Whiskey and Soda, they were the names of the pet dogs of Chris Patten, the last governor of Hong Kong. The dogs were often referred to in the media and were well known in Hong Kong at that time. The royal yacht is the Royal Yacht Britannia, the official yacht of the British monarchy, and it was there on July the 1st, 1997. Prince Charles, Chris Patten, and the family sailed out of Hong Kong on it. Very nostalgic, the end of empire, as it were. Playful V's refers to, Hong Kong people and Asian people like to do that when having their photograph taken. Jackie Chan and Sandy Lam are famous Hong Kong pop singers. Qingdao and Great Wall are Chinese beers and wine. And Chris Patten had the nickname Fatty Pang. It wasn't an insult, it was considered to call somebody fat meant that they were prosperous. And YCK Soda were the transliteration into Cantonese of the dogs' names, Whiskey and Soda. Okay, so Whiskey and Soda. Come with me to the last day of British rule in Hong Kong. Southern sky on fire, red, gold starbursts light up the historic harbour, fill 1 billion screens, reflect in a myriad windows. The boom and thunder echoes in high-rise city canyons. Ships' sirens sound long, mournful moans. Fireboats pump arcing master streams. The royal yacht, Prince and Governor, sail off serene into the South China Sea. Up a dingy staircase to the roof, take photos of the fireworks, rain-splashed lenses, smiling friends clustered under umbrellas, fingers parted in playful V's. In a cramped living room, we dance to ABBA, Jackie Chan, Black Box, Sandy Lamb, eat spring rolls, sausage rolls, drink Qingdao, Heineken, Great Wall. Past midnight, we crossed the invisible line, are on the other side. Things still feel the same. We crack another can of lager, party harder, laugh louder. Vox Pop on the radio, farewell tribute to Fatty Pang. He was an uncle to us, remembers the name of his 2 pet dogs. Wesley Sims, Soda.
Hello friends, my name is Daniel Thomas Moran and I live in the state of New Hampshire in the United States, although I was born in New York City and lived nearly all of my life in that vicinity. The poem I'm reading is titled Molly Moran, and it was written about my paternal grandmother as a tribute to her and as a means of preserving my memories of her. Surely the life she lived and the hardships she endured are an important part of who I became as a person and as a poet. Molly Moran. My father's mother we called Nana. Her given name was Mary. Still, as the Irish often do, everyone called her Molly. She would always tell us that she was born in 1901. She became a widow when she was 68. 10 at the time, I thought that was more than old. Now I'm 65 and I know better. She was a tiny woman, twice falling and twice breaking her right hip in the very same spot. Dragging it around, mourning it always, she called it her bum leg. Nothing in her 85 years had been easy for her. Eventually she surrendered, took to a comfortable chair, and she stayed there all the long day till it was time again for bed. She never spoke much, but only to agree with whatever was being said by voices around her. When she passed a Roman Catholic church, she would bless herself with the sign of the cross and say under her breath, "Bless us and save us." Whenever we bent down to kiss her hello, and then again when we bent down to kiss her goodbye, she'd say, "God love yous." She loved her cup of tea, ginger ale, and marshmallows. We giggled as kids when she called them marshmelons. She had a TV boyfriend whose name was Lawrence Welk. She never touched the drink, but was the daughter of 2 drunkards. One was from Ireland, the other one from Scotland. She had a half-brother named Jack who was similarly afflicted. Nana Moran's wedding had to be postponed when her father dropped dead. The week before, he was to walk her down the aisle at St. Cecilia's in East Harlem. You know how it must be with the Irish. Weddings and funerals, weddings and funerals. She gave birth to 6 children in all, 4 surviving to their dotage. Her first and third died as infants. Theodore, it was the pneumonia. Elizabeth was smothered at a breast when Nana fell asleep. She never missed Sunday Mass or holy days of obligation. She went one last time before they laid her down beside her husband in a Long Island field filled with the sleeping saints. I remember that day, standing beside them all, the gone and the still here, backed up to the slashes of a New York January wind. I wish I could remember much more, because now the answers to all the many uncounted, unasked questions are gone with her.
Hi, I'm Denise O'Hagan and I live in Sydney, Australia. My poem is Sestina for a Floating City, which appears in the Proverse Poetry Prize Anthology 2023, Mingled Voices 8. The poem is set in Venice. Sestina for a Floating City. Would I ever return to that city of water and mist, without feeling in the wind-whipped alleys your breath, and seeing in the passing pageant of souls your shade? Would I follow that canal-hugging street and lose my way as we did? And when I'd get back, would I see again he who'd await us at the winding down of the day? Was he real, that creature who knew our moves every day, rising stunted and nebulous from the damp and the mist, waiting and watching and drawing back into shadow again? Was he some sort of minstrel with tinselled breath and bells on his cap, a carnival jester finding his way through the streets, loitering in the dark and the shade? What happened in that city as the light turned to shade, when those gracious facades, sun-kissed and solid by day, dissolved, swaying in the water as dusk came their way? When balconies buckled, stairways walked off with the mist, and the yawn of a doorway confiscated my breath, and if I were to go back, would it happen again? Why did such thoughts lap at my mind time and again, inexorable as the tides in the sun and the shade? And did I sometimes catch myself holding my breath when the last gondolier slid by at the close of a day, knowing that later his face could be traced in the mist, long after he'd ferried the last of the tourists away? Was it the assemblage of masks in the shops, the way all their sockets had been emptied over and again, freeing their eyes to wander the streets in the mist, leaving feathers and lace to illumine the shade? Is this why I'd shiver despite the glow of the day, and why, moving slowly, I'd still feel out of breath? Was it the sour tang of salt that diminished my breath, and the sense of slippage and gradual subsiding away, inherent in the marshes and mud flats I saw every day? Would this floating city of no flesh, I wondered again, be one day submerged in the lagoon's shallow shade? Could the answer be found in the clouds and the mist? All I saw was the shade of a woman enfolded in mist, poised on the edge of the day with clouds in her breath, devouring those who fell in her way again and again.
Hello, everybody. My name is Joanna Radwańska-Williams. I was born in Warsaw, Poland, but now I'm greeting you from my apartment in Chicago, Illinois, in the United States. The title of my poem is Karen. Karen. He's not a real moon. He's a binary dwarf planet with a shared center of orbital gravity with Pluto. If he were a real moon, which perhaps he is, he would be the 12th largest moon in the solar system. Hardly anybody knows him, not like his brother Pluto, who is the namesake of a Disney dog. Or did you think he's a god? The ancient Karen was not just a god. He was the transporter of souls. Even the gods feared him. The planetary Karen is an icy world, the outermost outpost before the Kuiper belt. If I were to go there as my future self, either in body or soul, it would feel like treading on our moon, but not dusty, more like a glacier, like Greenland ice, but there would be no narwhals, no polar bears or seals, no cod or salmon, no huskies or Inuit. There would be the vast black sky, billions of distant galaxies, one particularly bright small yellow star, our sun, and Karen's ever-present brother Pluto, a huge golden orb, like a ceiling lamp.
Hello everyone, this is Wesley Sims, living in the USA, in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. My poem is 11 Ways of Looking at Space and appears in the Proverse Poetry Prize Anthology 2023, Mingled Voices 8. I wrote this poem because I like list poems. They help you observe something from many different angles, and I have always been intrigued by space and the awesome cosmos. 11 Ways of Looking at Space. The blank area between paragraphs in Gone with the Wind. The distance between chairs and coffee table in my living room. The prescribed separation of persons for social distancing. The nothingness between the nucleus and the orbiting electrons of a molecule. The black blanket on which the stars are stenciled. The superhighway of asteroids, meteors, and comets. The field of study of Einstein, physicists, and astronomers. The dark indecipherable between solid objects in the universe. The vast and unmeasurable geometric structure containing the cosmos. The experimental laboratory of the Creator. The place where time recedes and spins in mystery forever.
Good evening. I'm Hayley Solomon coming to you from New Zealand, and it's wonderful to once again be part of the launch of the International Proverse Poetry Prize anthology, Mingled Voices, this time Volume 8. In that anthology, you'll find Heart Song, and it is that poem that I'm going to present tonight. Heart Song. So much sweeter are the winds when time stands still. Hand me your hopes, that they twine golden edges with mine, infinitesimally singing heart song to your fleeting fancies. I see them flitter, flutter, far across your ever-open face, such solitary whispers of wistfulness in a moment of suspension. Flee no longer, nor be fleeting. The strength of your longing is surely shared. Hear every sigh of my breath, every twist of turning wind, for they are your lullabies, your cadent whispers of heart sound. Time waits. Grow bold, I beg, with lengthy belonging. Spare for me your sweetness, those fragile tendrils of tenderness, so tentative. Yet as they blend with mine, the wind bends hours to eons. We will teeter on that lovely, simple precipice, just yours and mine and time, in rare abundance. When you are ready, we'll verge into the softness of space, tucking ourselves into a whisper of place, an infinity of you and me. Oh, such merging of hope, such resonance of heart song. I listen, and the listening is love. Now, when time resumes, when the clatter of clocks is reset, the sweetness of wind remains.
Hello everyone, my name is Kewayne Wadley, living in the United States of America, Memphis, Tennessee. My poem is titled Firewood and appears in the Proverse Poetry Prize Anthology 2023 Mingled Voices 8. In this poem, I wanted to sincerely express how good it feels to be with someone that doesn't make you feel alone. Firewood. I set a fire in your eyes to keep both of us warm. You were so cold. I do not apologize for using the way I feel about you for firewood. I'll never forget the way you made me feel, or the way you quickly ran towards the burning wood, to wander the wilderness in search of that light that shines from a distance. Civilization, suddenly, doesn't seem so far.
Hi everyone, I'm Anson from Hong Kong. Today, I'd like to read to you my poem, What I Will Take. What will I take to my tomb? I keep wandering under the moon. I will take a little girl with me in front of a brick house in a village with a skirt down to the knee. The butterfly she chased, the butterfly she encased. What will I take to my tomb? I look into the eyes of rain in a thunderstorm. I will take with me a night with a wooden bathtub under flickering light. The lobsters from Nova Scotia, Canada. Starfed tail fennec served in Malta. What will I take to my tomb? I whisper into the ear of wind with bits of gloom. I will take for sure a broken tooth, a stent, a torn ligament, and a heart with no cure. Thank you.
I think we should congratulate everybody for their readings, their poems. Are there any questions of the poets who've read? The finalist who's here? No, this is Hong Kong. I don't expect any questions, but I like to leave a space just in case somebody has one. So I think you'd all agree that it's actually a great privilege to hear from so many thoughtful and interesting people from around the world. And thank you very, very much, all of you, for coming here to participate. Before I conclude, I'd like to thank several people, but first I must put my glasses on. I'd like to thank our international panel of honorary advisors, the anonymous judges of the Proverse Prizes, the Proverse team, our distributors, Chinese University of Hong Kong Press, Mr. Jackson Eng, our printer liaison, Mr. Dickie Wu, who does the cover design, Mr. Moon, who does collections and deliveries, the Helena May staff and the Helena May office, Peter, and the waiters outside. They're always willing and they're always very efficient and very helpful, and I rely on them a great deal. Thank you very much. We've had the pleasant and efficient help of students from Hong Kong College of Technology, corporate communication class, 3 Year 1 students, William Kwong, Josie Song, and Xin Yang, along with 2 Year 2 students, Isaac Chung and Jessie Chan, with their teacher, Daniel Choi, also invaluable here helping me. We've also had the help, is Rachel there? Is Rachel there? Yes. No, didn't come. We have Alicia, who's helped us come over from Discovery Bay. Thank you all very much. And I also would like to thank again Felix, Hector, Polly, did you take photographs? And anybody else who took photographs and who's going to pass them on later. So now we can relax. We've done the work, we've listened to the poems, we've given the poems, we've spoken about our book. There's more food, drinks, bar service is resumed, and please try to buy some books. Thank you very much for coming. I hope to see you again in November. Thank you very much.